I'll have myself a merry little Christmas if the Supreme Court throws out that crazy Texas redistricting decision. And Jerry Smith is my favorite judge of the year because of the opinion that he wrote. Paul Bettencourt is a senator. What do you think? How do you like your opinions, chances before the Supreme Court?
Well, you know, Hugh, all I wanted was just 5 more Republican seats. We just needed 5 more Republican seats. And if we'd made it that easy, you know, Jerry wouldn't have had to have his complicated, you know.
He was hot.
He was hot. He was mad.
I like it when judges are hot. And do you feel confident?
I feel confident. We, you know, when you look back on all this type of stuff, you could have turned left versus turning right, or et cetera. But Jerry's dissent points the way, and he's been around for an awfully long time.
He's a very well-respected judge.
No, he started in Harris County like I did back when
I didn't know that.
No, when I was a tax assessor, the only one in the state for a tax cut. That's how I
let's
started.
get to property tax. I want to make sure we cover this because property taxes are driving people from New York. They are driving people from the state of Maine. They are driving people from wherever. They can't have wages rise as fast as property taxes. So what are you doing about it?
We've dumped $51 billion into buying down the tax rate, increasing homestead exemptions in Texas. In the last 2 years.
Now explain that. I'm just a lawyer.
No, all right, I'll rewind the tape. We've been able to save homeowners in Texas $2,080, all 5.7 million of them, by dumping $51 billion into
makes sense to me.
Yeah, cutting the tax rate and then raising the exemptions. And actually,
do they know that? Do they feel it? Do they say thank you, Senator Bettencourt?
They do when they get their tax bill and they turn it over and they see it. In fact, the over 65s are so happy at this point. About over half of them are not paying. They're paying
I'm
zero.
I'm not going to tell you who's over 65 in this room.
You know,
I like that idea.
I know nothing. I see nothing. Okay, and that over half of the after the over 65s are paying no school tax at this point in time.
Now, where do you guys? How do you California? I'm so afraid of being there longer than 4 months. They'll slap me with taxes. How do you do it? How do you guys cut taxes and have school choice? How does Texas do everything?
It helps having Lieutenant Governor Patrick and I have been working on this for 20 years. And we've looked at a lot of solutions. And when you got a lieutenant governor as the most powerful position in the legislature plowing the road, we've been able to get actually bipartisan consensus. The last bill on raising the homestead exemption passed both houses unanimously. And more important, about 80% of the public voted for it too. Because they know raising exemption means lower bills.
Now, I got for the first time to hear Lieutenant Governor Patrick, who is like a phenom. He's well known, but I had never heard him before. He was fabulous. Why? For the benefit of the Steelers fans, so slow down a lot. Why is he the most powerful man in Texas?
Well, I was at the Steelers-Packers game, okay, and watched the Steelers lose.
Good.
But Dan Patrick, he's a winner. I just love my religious guys. I put him in charge of commissions. And I invite him to the White House, and you know, I just love it. Now, why Lieutenant Governor is important in Texas because he's the president of the Senate, and he's elected statewide, so he's got a statewide portfolio with the voters. Okay. See, the speaker, is elected in a small district,
right,
and he gets speaker. The representatives vote for him, but Dan gets elected as lieutenant governor of Texas statewide. So when he wants to, plow the road on something important, whether it's getting rid of ESG or DEI or any other 3-letter federal acronym, CRT, it blasts through the Senate.
Are you doing ESG? And that is what corporations use to ruin America. So are you doing anything about it?
Yeah, we did. We had just a bonfire of the vanities a couple years back where we invited all the big financial institutions into a small town in East Texas, and we roasted them, because they brought up one DEI vice president after the next. And this is all the majors, okay? And we knew we were on track when Vanguard basically bailed out before the meeting and said, we're dropping E and S, we're going to G, okay? Now, so we've got quite a squad of heroes in the Texas Senate. That one, the chairman of that one, Brian Hughes, but we roasted him at that meeting, Hugh, on purpose. Because when you put all this other junk into making decisions about what you should invest in, we had like ISS telling our own employee fund not to invest in our own Texas energy projects, and they were making less of a return. I mean, that's how crazy this stuff is.
Senator, I'm low on time. Are you a Longhorn?
No, I'm an Aggie.
Okay, so the Aggies, are they making the playoffs? They're not making the playoffs.
No, we're in the playoffs. We're number 7.
No,
We're
but I
gonna-
mean, you guys lost.
No. It doesn't matter. We only lost 1 out of 12 games.
Yeah, but
we
they-
got 3. Texas has 3 shots at the championship. Texas Tech, the UT, University of Texas, who whipped us but 1 game.
Steve
and Texas
Sarkisian
A&M.
gave like Cicero on why he should be in
Come
the
on.
the
There's
playoffs.
only 1 Ohio team.
But
come on.
the
What?
Big
We
Ten
got
deserves
3 of-
4, and we're kowtowing to the SEC. But we have the Texas Tech challenger here. So but you're an Aggie.
Right. I'm an Aggie.
Largest Catholic group in America focus is on Aggie.
Right, at Texas A&M. In fact,
That surprises people
St.
more than
Mary's.
anything.
No, it's a huge Catholic school, and
People don't know that.
no, they don't. And but there's lots of gems in Texas. Now that you're down here regularly, we can take you around to.
You got to talk to fetching Mrs. Hewitt. She just says that.
Well, you got her out of California. So,
I did, and she
that
went
was a
down to
great
Fort Worth
escapee.
today, and she didn't have any boots. She talked to me about getting boots. I said, "What? They're not going to work in Virginia, honey. People don't wear boots in Virginia." In terms of your governor, I just want to say you've been blessed with great leadership. Rick Perry and Greg Abbott. Rick Perry used to come when I lived in California with Velcro on his hands and take businesses and bring them back to Texas.
Well, no, and I mean, I grew up with Rick as an Aggie because he was kind of the quintessential Aggie governor. And no, he
Shoot the coyote when you run, governor. Yeah.
That's right. No, and I tell you, his popularity went up 10 points. Because, but that's because we still have what I call blueberries in Texas. One of them being
Austin.
the People's Republic of Austin, who just couldn't understand why a governor in self-defense would shoot a coyote that was snarling and ready to jump on him. Okay, well, but that's what you learn in Texas is to defend
Connie
yourself.
came on the program once, and we had a technical misfunction. And we talked to him for 40 minutes, and the tape was garbled.
Oh, too
And
bad.
that man came back and did it again.
Well,
so
that's Rick Perry. He didn't give up.
No, my bad about Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, Matthew. Okay.
And so I'm just saying, Texans are nice, even if they're wrong on politics. And Green Lights is his book. It was very good, but Texans are very nice. It's good to have ALEC here. You're the state chair of ALEC?
Yes.
Are you raising up someone to take over for you?
Already have, because he was smart enough to leave the House of Representatives, which is Dennis Paul, and he's running for Senate. So he's a battlefield promotion already in
All right,
process.
Paul Bettencourt, ALEC state chair, thank you. Senator Bettencourt, stay around because he's one of the few people who understand housing. It's all one market, and it's your job to make sure the market grows.
And it's a national market, and you got to understand that everybody's competing, so you have to do something about it. We passed 9 bills to get ahead on housing affordability, not just the homestead exemptions, but we, minimum lot sizes, so cities weren't, boxing people out, taking, commercial office buildings, converting them into lofts, cutting all the red tape with that. Tyrant's veto used to be able to block multifamily. Just one person in the People's Republic of Austin could stop an entire multifamily. We went through and did all of this. Had a ton of help from a lot of people in the House, as well as Nicole Nozick and others that understand that you want to get ahead of housing affordability problems, because if you wait to be California, it's too late.
Late. We are 40 million, no, I'm wrong, 4 million houses behind in California, and we'll never catch up given the way that it's regulated. Do you see effect on prices in Texas?
Well, we already have. We're only about 300,000 units behind here. Okay. So, and that's why we're pulling out all the stops to try to catch up with that. Yeah, look, you've got to have housing affordability. You got to put people in homes. They got to stay in their homes. You got to let everybody over 65 or disabled, stay in their homes at that point. So that's why this combination for us of tax rate reduction and property tax exemption increases worked. But all these other bills, just one thing in mind: more supply. And you got to get government, the HE double hockey sticks, out of the way, because they don't understand that. And you got people that are no growth, or you got blueberries even in a sea of red like Texas, that think somehow growth is horrible.
What's the next big city in Texas?
What do you mean?
It's going to just go boom.
Okay. Well, I mean, Dallas is close.
Well, that's already boomed.
Yeah, that's boomed. Austin went boom.
Yep.
They tried to raise their tax rates 20% in 1 year. And even there, Hugh, on one of my bills, they had to take to the public and they lost their butt 63-37, because even in the most liberal, progressive city in Texas, people just can't handle a 20% increase. They just said no.
Thank God for some common sense. Senator Bettencourt, thank you for sticking around, because housing is one market, it's one national market. Every unit helps every other unit. If we want to cure affordability, we got to build more houses and apartments. It's that simple. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everybody who helped me out here. And Alec, Lisa, and Jonathan, thank you.
Huge. It's the hugest.
I'll be back next year, wherever we are, at the next ALEC convention. Thank you.